I don't see anything on here for public comment, so we'll. skip over that. Then you wanna move on to approving the minutes, please?
Okay, one second, please. Getting a report from the sheriff.
Okay.
I will make a motion to accept the minutes from the November 6th meeting.
You wanna do the drainage board too? Same time?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll second that, all in favor?
Aye.
2-0. Which will combine, claims 1 through 169 in the amount of $197,684.39. The unpublished claims and the payroll claims.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second, all in favor? Review and acknowledge the treasury bank reconciliation and monthly comparison report for October.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
2-0. Reported collections as submitted for the ambulance quarter, health department reporter and sheriff for October.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second, all those in favor?
Aye.
2-0. Okay, Brian's not here, so we're gonna skip the child care and, go to our PHI agreement. And you're welcome to come up if you have, I don't know if you have anything that you wanna say to us or.
I just wanted to meet myself and Daniel. My name is Kevin Gorski. I am a membership representative for PHI. The gentleman here is going to be your local representative. Whereas before you're used to just kind of pop in and out, we're going to do a much more in-depth focus of education of individuals. The beginning of the year, the focus of the company is to really let individuals know what the membership is, get more of a grassroots out there. I want to thank the governing body of the community and the county for helping us provide the membership for the constituents here in the area. We always hope that nobody ever needs a service such as this. Last night I sat in I-57 traffic for 4.5 hours. They shut the highway down while helicopters, potentially 5, came in and out. Been a long time since I've seen anything like that, but it was a reminder for me of why I do what I do. And what I like to do is let folks know about the service beforehand. And that way, folks aren't worried or disturbed about a financial headache after a medical one, because it's the last thing that you want to worry about after you start to recover and you see those things. And what you all are doing through your county is providing no headache, no concern if that service is rendered. So definitely thank you for the invitation, beautiful community. Just a little bit of information, if you don't already know, and you may know this better than me, but since August, our numbers reflect just a little under 40 flights that were taken out of the area by our service. So those were all flights that didn't take any revenue away from the community. So whatever those would have been is still able to be spent right here where they're needed to be spent. The commission or the governing board have any questions for us?
I don't, yeah.
No, we got a couple council members back here too. Jeff and
My
Deb.
apologies, I didn't see you back. I knew you were back here. My apologies. I didn't even turn my back on.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question though.
Sure.
What happens, and you're the ones that the county gives out the card, correct? Okay. What happens if they take somebody and then they transfer them by ambulance? Is that covered or?
Ground services are not.
Okay, but I mean, if a helicopter comes then,
Yes.
does it have to be a certain one?
Well, it needs to be a PHI participating provider.
Okay, okay. Do they make sure of that usually, or?
Dispatch.
This young lady here will answer that better than anyone.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, telephone contact.
Yeah, actually, sometimes ground ambulance will bring the patient to the helicopter. That happens. So it's like, don't go to the hospital, get into the helicopter, and let's get it further than else. That's covered as well, yeah.
And that was very much the case last night in traffic.
Yeah.
They had that highway shut. Yeah. They just one after another landed, extricated, and was gone.
Okay.
So
That's why they.
Was that in Illinois? We're at Illinois.
it was about 90, well, it was 100 miles exactly from where I am right now. So 57 north, and then we had to take, what, 74 to get this
74,
right?
yeah.
So probably about 70 miles before my turn off.
Okay.
So,
It's North Avenue now.
And also, Brad, I think it was discussed, there may be a chance that the helicopter service is not available.
If they're busy,
If they're
IU
busy,
might come in and that does not count toward this.
Oh, okay.
It has to be a PHI, but most of the time, it is.
yes.
How many helicopters we have in this area? Three successful, 5. Thank you.
Because they usually.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot in this area.
yeah,
So I might, there's my big one. We're always within the available. Yeah.
we just want anyone to understand or to see this as an insurance policy. It's strictly a method of supporting our service, and in return, we provide that support and it costs back to your citizens.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? The document that you need to sign is right there. I do not believe anything has changed in the way of cost from last year. Everything should have stayed the same. And then we just need one signed copy. We'll get that ready for 2024. And whenever you all want to make payment, we can collect that and everything's done.
How do you make the payment? Is it once a year?
Well, yeah, I usually get it at the beginning of the year when you guys give me an invoice.
Okay. We can produce an invoice whenever you want one. So if you want one prior to that, just let us know.
Yeah, anytime after January 1, I'll have funds.
All right, sounds good.
And
And
you
actually,
can
you're not
actually set
correct.
December, right?
Sorry.
And then-
Actually, you're not correct on price. It's cheaper than last year.
Well, even better.
For Colleen, it's cheaper.
You can submit the bill in December to be paid in January,
Okay,
first meeting is January. Second Tuesday, that will be our first meeting.
outstanding. We will get that updated invoice
Just
to.
wanted to say.
Oh.
Okay, well, I need a motion to.
I'll make a motion to accept the PHI contract for 2024
And I'll second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Zero.
or agreement.
Right.
I guess it's a contract. Or an agreement.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the agreement.
One second, aye.
Aye.
Gotta get the wording correct.
And then can we submit the invoice to attention to anyone particular?
You can just send the auditor's office.
There's no further. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you all for your time.
Once we get the signatures, you guys don't have to stay. We take no offense to you going and doing your life, so.
Not a problem.
Which one did you want to get that?
Yeah.
You did.
All many of them?
Yeah, we did. Vehicles in your hospital, you need to go on,
Okay,
I was here to the
Okay, I'm just waiting.
helicopter, 47,901. Last year was 4 million, 448, 8.
Yes. Well, we appreciate it and hope everyone has a fantastic day, Thanksgiving and holiday season and be in contact.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, then the next item we have is a for professional services with Envoy, and they did supply us with an agreement to review, and code council, I think, advised that we should maybe put this off until the first meeting in December. They'll have time to review the document. 16 pages, or so there's a lot of information in there. We've got a lot of projects to cover, so we want to make sure that the wording is correct. Correct. And what services they're offering is within that document. We'll table that. The next one is the bids for the jail sewer screen project. Roger, did you have comments on that? What we're gonna do?
I'm gonna recommend to the commissioners that we reject the one bid that we got. I don't think it is detailed and fair. So with that, we will make a few adjustments to our bid documents and set them out with it again, probably December or January.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to reject the jail sewer screen project bid.
And I will second, all those in favor?
Roger, do you work with the town of Beaversburg at all, or do you want me to call them and tell
Either way.
them? I just want to tell them.
Okay,
I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
They've been very patient.
yeah, we'll turn it around fairly quickly.
Okay.
I think we had one bidder and the numbers just did not.
Right, yeah, okay.
We want to do a. The next. Whoever you want to see, we're bringing somebody, we want to wait on that, so I can use here. The current plan, renewal, do we want to, oh. So we go ahead and do that?
Well, it is what it is. All right.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's like,
Can we wait until December?
well, that panel over there, it really doesn't matter.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the transplant, renewal plan.
And I'll second. Sorry, I skipped the multi-hazard mitigation plan updates. Is that from emergency management?
Yes, this and then here it is.
We all understand that. Just one signature. And I think this is done every year, correct? Okay.
Just dates.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna make that motion to
Yeah.
All that has,
multi-hazard mitigation plan.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2023-41, confirming the participation of Benton County and Colorado over Heritage Forward Mission.
Make a motion that I continue to be represented in Fountain County.
Okay, and I will second that you continue to do that, and I would be the alternate.
Yep.
Are those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, two, that vote for yourself.
Yeah.
All right,
No one else is standing in line.
this wasn't on the agenda for, believe, you know. Okay. I do have a resolution 2023-43. Opposing the construction of a pipeline to divert water from Wabash River Authority to Leak Innovation District. And I know, Kent, did you have anything that you wanted to?
No.
Okay. Tim, I know you're involved with the Wabash River Heritage, and it's been a hot topic. I know a lot of the cities and towns that are along the Wabash River are signing such resolution to protect their community.
Make a motion to approve the what was the number?
2023-43.
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good. Yep, sign that. Any other? Okay.
Why don't we have, just for,
Oh, no, given that, that was just,
I was just showing all the versions. I took out the city of Bennington and put version.
okay,
it was just what we started with, and I reached out to Kent to do one for Fountain County. Okay, so Rod, I guess we're ready for you.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to the department heads. Unless I have department heads that need to go and then they want to leave.
Or we might have a long conversation, they did also tell them 9:30.
Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and do some of the department heads and so you can wait. Oh, no. Garth isn't here. Josh, did you have any? No, that's not even. Sorry.
Keep that in mind.
Okay, I'm not forgotten you.
Yeah, if you could, yeah, just pick a few.
Yeah, I don't.
Figure something out.
I did, last time I was at the annex, I didn't see any keys or anything up there to that file cabinet, but
Is there
there's a lot of keys.
is there a local locksmith or anybody, is there anybody that you want to have one for key?
Haley Lock and Key.
Yeah.
Josh, Boss is in town every day.
Who's that?
Boss. They're doing.
they're good,
Yeah.
they've helped on the old jail and stuff. They're pretty good.
Give both of them a call and see if they can put like a new tumbler or something in. Is it a metal window or is it?
That's metal up in the one with in the attic. There's metal too of them.
Two of them.
And we do have the wooden ones that are in the office. I don't know if they. I don't recall if they lock.
Okay.
Yeah, they do, I'm sure they do, but finding the key would be next to impossible.
Yeah, there's a bunch of keys like around.
Yeah, I'll just give them a call next week after the holiday and see if they're able to do tumbler and then instead of trying to spend $600 or $800 on another one, we'll just do it within a few bucks. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Maybe I'll go there after the meeting today and I'll take a picture and send it to you of what I have.
Reynolds is there today too.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Brenda, back up on ambulance, you had sent the memorandum of understanding with Garth regarding exemption status,
Oh, okay.
and I thought I'd emailed you about that, but I didn't, but I think that I don't have any objection or issues with that.
Over updating, do we need to have a meeting or updating our handbook, you know, with
Well, I think this would just supersede, this is just saying that he's an exempt employee, but when he is, because of the staffing issues, with if Garth works as a paramedic or an EMT,
that we can,
to fill in that he's, he will receive overtime, he'll be eligible for overtime pay.
okay, so we do have a meeting set up with, Addie. What, December 5th? I think it's on Wednesday. the sixth at 1 o'clock. So I don't know if do we want to wait until after that meeting to act
Sure.
on that?
That's fine.
Because I think what we're gonna do is have some of the ambulance staff there too, to understand their pay. The way it is currently, and if we wanna. I think there's 3 options of pay that Patty was gonna share with us. So I just didn't know if we want to deal with that then. Or Tim,
Yeah,
what do you wanna do? You wanna
deal with it then.
all of it? Okay.
Why not? Unless you wanna vote on this particular thing today.
Well, I think the question was, is his assistant director, I think we thought that he wasn't eligible
But he's not.
for, but he's not.
He's not exempt, he's not.
So he should be compensated for any overtime that he's doing. Right, but how we do that, I think, is, issues that we're having, we don't have to. The salary ordinance doesn't reflect that. So I don't know if we want to wait until December 6th, since it's so close, and then we can address all those.
That's what we.
Yeah, let's just
Wait.
hold on.
Okay, is that okay, Colin?
Yes.
Okay. We'll do that. But thank you for bringing that up. My mind was the same way. Okay. 911, I guess. Just moving on.
We're Jen. Okay, I'm giving you the caliber quote. And the paperwork that goes behind that. This is the final quote they gave me. It has dropped quite a bit of money. The first quote that I had. The yearly maintenance is on the left side of the second paper. I am looking into the small entities on providing money aspects of the usage of that, so I'm getting that figured out and giving it to them. Again, that will not come into effect until 2025 budget, since 2024 budget's already here. I did talk to Jason, he had mentioned in my last email that it does take can take 6 months to get this all set up. Could take 9, could take 12, just depending on how busy they are and how heavy they are in setting up other caliper systems and whatever they're doing on their things. I do have to apologize. I did talk to you guys about this, but I didn't realize the steps that was going forth. I did talk to the council member and council members about this as well. So I do apologize that I didn't know, so I feel like I dropped the ball on that part with you guys, so. I'm gonna say that I needed to know from you guys before I can take that back to them, so they can go, so I got it.
I know,
Yeah.
I know you didn't know that. Neither of us was upset about it, because always in the past, it was thought that they needed to go to the council to get their blessings on funds before they asked the commissioners to sign a contract, and so I just thought that's what happened.
I do apologize.
Has Barry been involved in this?
Yes, Barry is highly involved in this.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
thumbs up from Barry as well, so I keep him informed of most of the stuff that I've got.
Awesome. Yeah,
We'll
he's
be
great,
back.
so you got
Yes.
access to him, so.
Yes, he's helped out quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Okay, so the total's 201,000, right, with everything?
That's for the setup for the caliber system, which can go into fire and ambulance as well. So what ambulance uses now, the ESO for reports, they can pull from this as well. So there would be a fee from the ambulance fee for them to use as well. So everybody is intertwined in everything. If the fire departments decide that they want to do that, because some of them also use ESO, then they can help fund as well.
Okay.
So the initial cost is the 201,869, and after that, the maintenance is 62, which their support system is phenomenal compared to what we have now. Our last issue we had with our CAD system, it took them, they advised that they were not going to be able to get us back up and running until 7 o'clock in the morning, the next morning. I advised them it was unacceptable. We are a 911 system and we need to have our access in order to do our job and to get our individuals taken care of without Warren County. So, it took them 3 hours to get that fixed. Now with Caliber. Go ahead. So at Caliber, it's depending on the severity of the issue, 5 minutes to 20 minutes fixed. And if that individual can't get it done, then the next person gets it done. They come monthly to our facility and check out, make sure everything is good. We get updates every month or every 2 months to 6 months, we get updates. Very easy to talk to, very easy they explain what's going on. With cushions, it can't hardly get a hold of anybody, and we are spending money for that as well.
And were you getting updates with them?
No, we do not.
Yeah.
I think we are now 7 updates behind with our cushions, which Caliber has bought out cushions. So they're going to be phasing them out, but don't know how many years from now they're going to be phasing that out. So anybody who has this Caliber system, so we can be hooked in with Montgomery County has a Caliber system. Kentucky, any police department, state department that has Caliber, we're hooked in with that as well.
Okay.
So say there's somebody that is behind a vehicle or they're running this late in Kentucky and our guys are behind that vehicle up here. So it's all linked. So our guys, hey, we're behind this vehicle that's stolen.
Right.
So, it's all linked. Safety issue is another aspect, very high on that.
So, my thoughts are, for one, I set in on the training a little bit, and it's like, access system looks to be an access system. They have a lot of parts in the United States. Warren County's paying $325,000 here.
Okay.
We need the same amount of dispatchers we have, whether we're just Fountain County or Warren County, so Warren County. And we're providing great service to them. We have $325,000 coming in.
I've also sent out emails to all of their commissioners and in contact with Vinnie Pruitt as well. They've had some questions. I have answered those questions for them. And one of the big questions is this gonna cost us more money? And I said, yes, it's going to. We'll sit down and talk future with that.
And that was, Warren County, because that was a topic. They said, what's gonna happen when Fountain County buys new equipment? We
I
have
thought
to
the
pay.
agreement was if you pay $325 and we do what we need to do.
Well, we were gonna assess it every year as far as if there were, huge expenses.
Okay.
Is that not correct, Ken?
I have to look at it, but I think I remember that.
We're gonna review it every year, our agreement. A lot of it was based on medical claims and stuff. Thing, but we also kind of knew that we thought we were gonna be getting new equipment since we're getting to the facility.
Okay, I just don't remember that. I just remember them paying $325.
No one really knew how to address that, and I don't either. But if they are willing to contribute some funds to offset what we're investing, I'll talk to them.
Yeah, feel free.
So thank you for reaching out to them.
What is very, open communication on what we're doing and what we're, changing over here and trying to make it better for our residents of Fountain and Warren County. The actual cost for an individual, from what I understand, is $198. It's on the first page at the very bottom.
Okay.
Is the usage, so $198 for an individual for the license. And it's also saving us money for the license since we're already with cushions. We won't have to have that, which is not in here. The actual setup for the license that we will need. So that's already in there on that quote. There will be some equipment, which we turned in already for that as well. So it's just the safety for our officers, the safety for our residents, and for us to be able to do our job to the best of our ability. We are now to the best of our ability, but if we can get that little.
No, I like that you are moving forward because it's been talked about for several years and nothing's been done.
I want you to know, I have reached out to a couple other entities for a new CAD system. They have not responded back to me. No, I've not got any. The last email I got from actually Motorola was they're too busy. They don't have enough hands at this time. So I have reached out, it's not just this one that I've reached out to, I've reached out to other entities as well.
So Kent, with that being said, please reach out to other entities for
It-
quotes.
Yeah, it's primarily a service, so it's not subject to.
Okay. With that being said. Do you want to make a motion, do you want me to accept this?
I'll make a motion to accept the calendar bid.
I'll second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Give them all the. Okay, good.
We'll get that signed and then, Colleen wants to send it in, or if you're sending one, if Barry gets a copy, then
Yes.
whatever.
So you guys move on, thank you. Do you
Thank
guys
you.
have any questions for me or anything?
I think.
Thank you, you guys have a good one.
Is anybody here from emergency management? Okay, Sheriff, you go, to the sheriff.
Sheriff has 64 in jail, 11 DOC, 22 Sullivan, so we're getting paid for 33 bodies, and then 31 Fountain County residents. The people in Fountain County in jail. Total of 64.
Thank you. Jason? 10 seconds.
I'll probably be quick. I have a question on our annual bids for calling. I know we used to talk about it. This is about the time that we've been sending them out the last 2 years. Do we need to advertise prior to sending those out to the vendors?
I think you can send them out.
Yeah, I emailed you.
I got your email.
Yeah. I just don't know what the normal timing was, whether those came in at the first or second January meeting.
I think it was the second January meeting, and you usually advertise in December.
I sent you an email on Friday
Oh.
to,
That's what I normally say.
yeah, and meeting date
Yes,
for that,
yeah,
so.
so the second meeting in January.
Yeah.
we'll open bids, okay. Going along with that, for contractors, as far as like say, animal excavating, bus excavating, it was brought to my attention from another county that we could send them annual contract or annual bids.
Are we happy to look into that?
Okay, we've never done that before.
Yeah, I don't know if you could have what type of work you normally use them for?
Bridges. Small structures and things like that.
Or repair work, right?
Yeah, repair.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could. Okay, I'll look at that, I don't know if we could perhaps solicit for kind of proposed on-call agreements. Okay.
Union Crossings project's finished up north, there should be grid launch and striping today or tomorrow. It'll be completely finished. Turned out really nice, wow, they did a great job on it, very happy with this. There are a couple of concrete structures out there that I may need to transfer some money and come with a possibility. But I'm waiting on TNT Concrete to get me some prices on these. I don't know that he'll be able to get to it this year. So just to call it. Other than
Hey,
that,
Jason.
Yeah.
The contractors we were looking at, like, let's see, whatever, is it for maintenance work or is it for construction and repair and all that?
construction and rehab and repair.
Okay, so yeah, that's already good.
Yeah.
You guys,
I'm sorry.
you'll do all the maintenance part.
Yes, yeah. One last thing, I met with a company a couple weeks ago, Biolytics, I brought it to council members, last week. They are kind of a new company in the States, they are based out of Germany. What they do is take like a AI intelligence, artificial intelligence, and get inventory for our roads. They can rate our roads for us. It's an app on my phone that I would put on my windshield drive. It takes a picture every 10 feet. I met with the gentleman a couple weeks ago, like I said, and he's going to be presenting me with the information that he found. We went for a drive just for a few miles. I don't have a price yet. We'd be almost like a pilot county. They usually work in cities and towns for this type of work. But it would correlate with our GIS, so everything would be transferable. It's very, very interesting. It'd save, we had USI come do our PACER ratings this year, like $35,000. They did more than just that.
Right.
But, I think once I get a price on this, it'd be something to look into. We can take inspections, however many times we want, send it to a cloud. We can go in the fall, we can go in the spring before we start our projects. We can really get a plan together and what.
So the information that you USI consultants did could be inputted in this.
So their software will generate a PACER rating
Okay,
through that software. So I'm meeting with him tomorrow to see about what the information looks like, how it prints out reports and everything. But I think it'd be very interesting. No. Okay. No, this would just be for us to plan. Radar roads. And just, we'd be taking a little off the plate for USI as far as that goes. But we can go out and inspect anytime we want. We can get our roads graded anytime we want.
Okay.
Jason, does it do condition assessments on the road?
It does.
So that is valuable when we're dealing with the solars, the pre and post inspection. We can run those roads pre-inspection, run them post-inspection, and do a condition assessment, and tell us whether there's a factor on it. That may be a valuable tool for that kind of.
Okay. It also takes into account our sign inventory or small culvert inventory and things like that as well. So it's just something to think on. I think we'll see what the price is. Hopefully, like I said, it's kind of new here in the States. They work with towns and cities, north and in Indy, so see.
Okay. Jason, you know the county that you talked to about that call? Construction ring.
I think it was. I'll put the date over at Montgomery County. Him and I were talking about that today.
Yeah, if it was Montgomery, that's good.
Yeah. I'll let you know though.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll come back over the shop.
Yeah.
All right.
That's there. No. No. No.
I think that input, there was email.
I just said, let someone disagree with me, we're ready to roll.
I think everything's square of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were just waiting to get this an easement they needed straightened out on their side.
Okay, and so I think they're working
Yeah,
towards
we're-
closing.
That's the answer.
Okay, well, good for you. All right. Okay.
And I'm on the land, I'll try to see if we can do a fall rolling. Since it's nice and dry right now, it'd be a good time to roll that landfill.
Okay.
I don't know if it's in this budget or not. Usually we do it in the spring, but the spring's been so wet. I don't want to miss the season of rolling down. And I'll cover that with them, make sure, okay?
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't have anything much left for me.
Nope.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Rod,
Hey,
you're up.
so are we able to turn the TV on so we can see who's joining? I think we'll probably have quite a few on the Zoom each day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dale, for joining. So the conversation is supposed to include all the stakeholders regarding childcare. We've been working on this, ready two has a childcare component. And, it's challenging. There's a lot really that we're sorting through. Kim's doing a great job, digging in and figuring it out, but I wanted to have a conversation with the whole group today, commissioners, the council, community action, community foundation, and WIDA. So, and then obviously our mayors were invited as well. And I did send out a document last night that we've been working on. I have some copies here if anybody wants a hard copy. But essentially, it's we had a statistical issue within the county. It appears that around 12% actually have access to childcare. So we all know the value of childcare, especially quality childcare, and it is an economic development issue. It keeps young families from participating in the workforce, and it's also a developmental issue for those who don't have access to their child in care. So what I wanted to do today was open up a conversation about what the county would like to see happen regarding this issue. Because it is something that will take many hands to solve. It will take many points of financial investment and or leadership to resolve. And we need to know the temperature of where the county wants to go. We understand how to pursue it. Our role in this is a leadership role from an economic development point of view. So we'll do whatever we can to help. And of course, bring in grants and coordinate people and so forth, but it's certainly not something that we are able to take on ourselves, and I don't think it's wise anyway. So I just want to open up the conversation. Does anyone initially have it, but do we have anybody online? You know, online? Okay. Any thoughts? Let's start with community action. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but just what are your experiences? I know we're working on some things now, but what are your experiences and thoughts about child care in the county?
Sure. Well, I think specifically right now, Donna's working on, because we do have the spaces to expand our current facility just to pick up 8 toddlers, so it's a very small drop in the bucket. I think looking at it broadly, specifically the community action, you're looking at families that are at the lower income levels, so it's going to be people that are either entry level or at those lower paid positions. I think having worked in this area within early childhood for a number of years, a few things I think after looking at the strategic plan as it is now that I would encourage, one would be to determine where are people working. I think that looking at it by each community means that childcare is an excellent thing. However, I think if when you're looking at size of facilities and numbers, you're going to have to see where people are going. If everybody is working at Danville, then the push would be to go something more in this direction. If people are going towards Crawfordsville or Lafayette, that's going to generate where those facilities, if you're looking at the facilities, where those need to go. I think the other thing that we've looked at specifically because of the rural nature of our community is something with family childcare, which was not addressed here, where those ratios are a little bit different. You can put more children in a family childcare home. Those can also be licensed and technically can also be ran by a business or a company. They're just located in a home, therefore they're licensed as family childcare homes. It's economically something to really consider, and could also be, well, you could have one in Wallace, you could have one in Kingman, you could have one in Stone Bluff, where pockets of children are going to be that aren't going to have the needs that a typical facility are going to have. When you get into facility and childcare licensing issues for facilities, particularly those that are not religious based, there's lots and lots of little nuances I think that would need to be addressed. But I do know that childcare is an issue everywhere. Fountain County is of course no exception. And then I did see in here where talking with the companies, because I remember, and I could be wrong, but when MasterCard was first built, it was going to be in 3 phases, and that 3rd phase, which was never built, but didn't it include plans for a childcare facility at that time?
Yes.
And so maybe those funds, or at least that vision within that company is still there, even if they're not going to build a facility. At least to have that type of outreach or that type of support for the dollars that you're going to need for those next things, so. And I guess that's.
Do we know where the in-home care is now? Remember?
Somebody may know better than me, but the last time I did any sort of community assessment towards that, looking at that, there are no, or I don't think there are any licensed family child care homes. There are some. Typically what tends to happen is those, I want to not say they go underground, but people don't advertise that a lot because if they go over ratio and all these things, they don't want to get in trouble for the things that they're doing. So there's lots of people, there's probably more people than we know watching children, they're just not on anybody's radar. And that, I know when we did something similar to this in Park County, that was an issue there as well. They're just, people know who they are, they're wonderful, lots of them are doing great quality care. They just don't want to get into the queue system, the licensing system, all those things, so they're not things that are on the radar.
So you have worked in Park to produce a program or?
The park had a coalition, it's still in operation, they just did their strategic planning 2 years ago, I think. Looking at increasing childcare facilities there, Montgomery kind of led the way, Park, did this strategic plan and did the whole thing, probably 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay. Dale, are you prepared to contribute? I'm not sure what I'm asking here, but we just want to have an open dialogue.
Right, I think first of all, at the highest level, how has WEGA determined, WEGA has a contract with the county, how did WEGA determine that this was an issue of all the issues?
That's a pretty much
that they were going to explore?
right. So it was really not on our list initially when we started, and we are working through the comprehensive plan now. So the comprehensive plan will enlighten our priorities countywide. So we're sort of in this bizarre gray area. How it started was Ready Grant, which we are participating in as a region. Ready Grant has the region and the state have identified childcare as an issue. And so we have new housing starts and childcare as the top 2 priorities for the region. And after that, we have a business incubator and lowering healthcare costs. So those are the 4 topics that the region decided. So that's 7 counties. And it's interesting because I think it's really being pushed from the state because as I do the research, it appears that Montgomery County is moving ahead without Ready for childcare. White County is sort of where we are, they're trying to pick it up and figure out next steps. Dayton County is really not doing anything. Carroll County is not participating. So we really just have White County and Fountain Warren that are using Ready to move forward. Tippecanoe is interesting because they just come at it from a different point of view with different needs. And so they're having internal debates about whether it's one center or multiple centers. Of course, when they do it, it's a much bigger number and much, more involved process. But it is early days for the regional conversation, but that's how it started, was with the Ready 2. As we look at it, obviously, we've already committed to business incubation and housing in our previous effort, and we picked it up because we felt like it is a need. But we can have that conversation as well, where it lands in our priorities.
But really, the county hasn't, or we really didn't decide, you're just kind of following.
That's right.
Ready's lead of what the others.
So Dale, I think really it started with Ready 1 when.
Oh, yeah.
When I came before the council and asked if there was support to do $27,000 a year for 3 years to initiate some sort of childcare, because it was pointed out that we were short. And so I just kept pushing the council, and finally the council agreed to, contribute funds and support Ready 1. Well, when that, everything got rolling with that, and they started meeting when they contracted the Greater Lafayette, you know, that region. Contracted and started meeting with Head Start and some of the others. It's like, what is our money going for? Is it going for a project particular, or are we just talking so that we can get to a place where we can offer a service that's needed? And I think that's what kind of really started snowball, correct? Robert?
Correct, yeah.
And then Ready To is now come in, and so now we need to get on our thinking hats and start thinking of what can we offer? What can we afford? Yes, Brad?
Ready One would, fund the program. Ready Two, it will fund, is just for, capital project.
Yes,
So.
and so there was a little
The
bit.
program in Ready Two.
And then the other thing, thanks for question, two things. One, that I was looking at the email you provided. Some statistical information on those, that Petersburg didn't have any childcare centers. But I'm aware of Discovery Express right downtown, and also at preschool. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, some of those stats might be incorrect, and I'd love to hear, because we're still collecting them.
And the last thing I had was, they talked about a needs assessment, but you already had short-term and long-term goals. And I was kind of wondering where those short-term and long-term goals came from, if the needs assessment hasn't already been done.
No, that's fair. We offered some short-term goals because there has been work on this prior to us coming to the conversation. So those things in the short-term goals are things that are already kind of in the works. So, maybe you need to use different terminology, but they are things that, we can execute because they're currently happening. For instance, we do have a task force, it's a regional coalition. And so, I was trying to capture everything on a document. The process, and you're right to point that out, we are moving forward with what we know to achieve our Ready To application. It is outside of the process of comprehensive plan though. It's not something that we could control because the schedule's the schedule. So, we're just jumping in, trying to move forward. The comprehensive plan will, I think, be complete by January.
So we're having our meetings.
Okay, and so,
Meetings will be in January, February.
and in those meetings, we'll certainly get additional input from the community, and that will set WEGA's agenda. But as you know, these grants sort of set our agenda as well, the large grants.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Is this paid childcare, are the people paying, I think Head Start, Robin and Dawn is, income driven, correct?
We're income driven for Head Start slots, for Head Start services, but childcare typically is around the parents are paying for that,
Okay.
right around the piece of that.
And that's what you're looking at, correct, Rod, is,
It's an open dialogue, so I think that's what we're looking at, but
is that the goal, is that what you think?
It's kind of a building dreams right now, it's just assessing the need and what is the need for the entire building and what do we have to meet that need currently and are we reaching the highest quality care for our children and assessing those needs right now. I mean, it's not anything except bringing it to the table and making sure that all the right people are at a speed suicide.
Nicole, what about the schools? Or, you don't have anything right now, correct?
We don't have anything now, but we would like to be very much part of the conversation and part of the solution because it is difficult for working parents, both who work for us and or send children to us to figure out, okay, where are we gonna, there's an hour and a half, 2 hours after school that we need to provide for. And so whether we're part of that or we disseminating information, providing support, or.
And Attica, John and Attica has expressed a desire as well, even though Attica has the learning center, they want to be on property. So I think to kind of recap where we are in this conversation from execution point of view, each school has indicated a desire to have on property for their teachers and staff. That's kind of a separate conversation. And then we've had conversations about adequate learning center moving from the existing elementary to a new building, which they have already purchased. They need to do a remodel in order to do that and be recertified because they're currently certified at the elementary. And then we recognize that Petersburg and Hillsborough and England don't really have anything. And that Covington's doing better than most with Head Start. And I think there was another, does the church still have child care here?
Oh, they had school. Oh, they had some space for employees, so a full corporation last year, but they don't have it.
They don't have it this year. So that's sort of the status overall, and do not have really good numbers on in-home care, so we should work towards that.
And the in-home care keeps changing, so as soon as as I stepped into the coalition, they were trying to assess all of the child care givers and how much space they had, so that they would have that as a resource to get the people that needed child care. But from what I can assess, it's just, it keeps changing, people close without expectation, and there's no real pulse on that to keep steady. So I think that's why we went towards more of the center base, because you can get more high quality in that kind of area, but it's a lot more work and a lot more money, and it takes a lot more people involved as well.
In Dr. Grimes, one of our views, at which we found several cases in employees, did she say, if I remember right, he has some difficulties with the state on, okay, so why can't we source our legislation and our senators and or somebody go to the assembly and talk about this?
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a couple of issues. One is
the group don't need that. They're going to take care of it, and I don't know why they jockeying around and start.
a lot of it comes in with different exiting requirements for the use of that classroom for young children versus adults. And so she was having to come up with money for, new exits and for but there is another conversation at the state level for sure, because this is very complex. And when you're currently serving 12% of the population, I mean, there's a mountain there to climb. So, we obviously, I think we need to do more homework. We're not really ready to go on any particular objective today, but I really wanted everyone to talk about where their desires are, how they want to address it or not address it. Let's have that conversation, and then we can work into solutions. Obviously, we have a few on the table already with Head Start expansion and so forth, but I think it's an issue. I think it's an important issue for economic development.
And I think it's like an important issue right now. We're kind of considered a child care desert. But if we're bringing in more housing and more families and more homes, and we're gonna, we have to think of what that impact is going to be on the child care process as well. So, we want our kids to have a good early childhood education, because that sets them up when they get into the school. And then we're not struggling with our schools as well. I think there's a whole ecosystem in place for it.
Any thoughts from the commissioners?
No, that Zoom meeting that we had the other day. Yeah, I was in a Zoom meeting, I couldn't come through the meeting. Anyway, there was a lot of discussion. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I know when you and I first started talking, then it's like I talked to Dawn, and we're just trying to bring in some of these organizations. What do you have that what are your needs? Can we work together? And so how we get to meeting together so that we're on the same page, I don't know how we're gonna do that. But the thought was, with Ready One, there was people that were supposed to be doing that and letting people know, hey, there's grant money out there. And so after talking to Dawn, it's like, no, that communication went there. I didn't know that. I was told this is what was going on, so I'm thinking the word is getting out. So however we can all be on the same page with, and work together on getting, you know, what we need for the additional housing in Covington and Attica. Because if there's young families coming in, they're gonna have.
And that's who we want to come in,
Right.
obviously.
Right,
But how long?
We just want to be ready.
Been working on there.
so they started in 2019, they
Yeah,
said, and then COVID hit, so it kind of,
and they were very aggressive because they had a very aggressive manufacturing plan. And they're a little behind on the housing, so, they have reasons for being that aggressive. I wonder if we have, advisory boards when we're looking at housing and so forth, but I know we've got a coalition with Warren County, which we, of course, want to be maintained. But I think maybe just to keep the conversation going, within Fountain County and, start these, research projects and, strategy conversations that we shouldn't have. If we could just start there and start out.
I think your best option would be to use those coalition meetings, maybe to increase their frequency, but the framework is already there with all of your childcare partners for both Fountain and I think more. And I think that if those people are going to possibly be accessing childcare in Attica, if they're driving through on their way to Lafayette, or if
Sure.
they're headed towards Crawfordsville, I mean, if that's the direction that they're working to, so I don't think there would be no harm, I guess, in using that coalition. It's already got your framework, it's already got the system for communications and all of those things in place to speed your, as opposed to creating something new.
Right.
That's gonna impact the exact same.
Sure, it is a little different in that, we have specific funding sources, yeah.
Sure, but in terms of your thinking,
Yeah,
it's all gonna be basically the same.
okay. Are you participating in that coalition? Me, the foundation, having them. Okay. So we would want, for instance, we would want our mayors to be a part of that, I think, and the foundation people, and so maybe to broaden that foundation to a bigger group. From a practical point of view, it all makes sense that there would at least be a commissioner and a council person involved, maybe not in every meeting, but involved in the conversation, because if it involves government, it will need your input.
And we can report those meetings too, and share them.
Rod, one of the things for you guys to consider, I've been to some of these meetings and sat back and listened, is the locations of these centers. They seem to do very well when they're co-located with the high schools for multiple reasons. Once you mentioned that the teachers would end up using them, we won't use our teachers. But when new families come in and they look at the high school, because that's one of the biggest draws, what are the high schools, what do they look like? And you tell them that added feature, there's a child center next to the high school, that pops them on lights, you know, especially if it's a working mom, you know, or I'm looking at the school, this is an added benefit. I can have my child right into the school, I go to work, I come back, I come up. Something for you guys to consider. It seems to work when they're next to high schools. Montgomery County's child care center that they're building right now is literally a block and a half away from the high school. So it's something for you guys to consider when you're looking at, you know, do one, put one in Attica and one in Kingdom. You know, rather than doing that, all these, the high school service those areas, and that would be a great place to have those units. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at that.
So, go ahead.
Additionally, we've given project from the school side, we have our CTE programs, and one of those is early childhood learning, and so can those students get their hours that they need? And or, you know, does that allow us to extend their window, because now we're providing an after-school work opportunity for some of those kids who have that interest as well. So they don't have to travel.
One of the big pushes currently is part of the applications is to offer the child development associate credential as part of the application that requires 120 clock hours of training and then like a bunch of hours of on-hand care. So that that would be an excellent use for educational programs, is to be able to have those students as soon as they're out of school, able to pass their verification visits for their CBA to be a credentialed worker for a childcare
Do
facility.
you have a spot for childcare within your facilities, or do you have to place it?
We have property available.
One thing you might keep in mind that with multiple persons in the country and in communities, and both, there's a bit there with, the child, and there's there, I mean, there's a few that are floating or thinking about it, so it's already set up for kids. So that might be a possibility. I know the community. So, that's already set up.
When they meet all the ADA and all the requirements, it's pretty much.
Yeah. Or the island. I mean, see what I'm getting at, I mean, those.
Yeah, I see 100% what you're getting at, but I also know what all the rules are on the other side and prohibit that immediately. No. And you're rehabbing the whole facility. So, but, yeah, good thought.
So from a funding point of view, a lot of these have one-to-one matches. Sometimes different than that, but a lot of times they are one-to-one. For Ready 2, you can use funds that are already spent as long as it's spent after the bill was signed and for like kind. So since we haven't been building a lot of childcare in the county, then we probably don't really have like kind or much of it. But we would need to find funding sources. So for instance, if we decided that 3 facilities were going to be built over the next couple of years, $250,000 for a remodel budget of, one of these buildings, then we would have to find, the additional $750,000 to match for the funds. For Ready, I'm supposed to have all of our information in to the group by the end of November. The application isn't actually due until February, so we have some leeway there, but it would be good to. Because Ready 2 has the largest funding available today for this kind of activity, and they are focused on it, so that's helpful. So I think maybe in the short term, if all the parties could through email exchange thoughts and ideas regarding Ready 2 specifically, where that funding would go and how we might be able to support it with matching funds, that would help us. And then I think Kim and I will work on another coalition meeting that's sooner than later with additional contributors so that we can keep the conversation going. I feel pretty strongly that we need to do something and that there are some nice things happening already, but maybe not big enough to handle the need. And I also feel pretty strongly that there's no way that we're set up to do it. We'll
Correct.
provide.
And I think it needs to be known to the council and commissioners know it, that the funds that they, obligated to, Ready 1, it's not producing a project like that because we're not ready. And so if they can understand and accept that so that we can move on, I understand it, and I think people just think things just happen overnight, and this is huge, and it's gonna take a lot of people, to get something going.
So I think there's consensus that we need to move forward with solutions.
Brandon, on the Ready 1 money, I think we have till the end of 2026.
That's always been a lot of the dates that I've seen on a lot of the grants.
So. What was that, 23,000, which you had?
The county obligated, I can't remember what the Ready funds were that would go towards, so, if did anybody submit anything for Ready 1?
Yeah, I think 3 people did.
Okay, so, and that's what we wanted. I knew that I was gonna select what that project was. I see someone higher up was gonna select this. And I think the thought from council was they were gonna be selected, and they wanted to hear what those projects were, and finally, I think I got through to them. This is not your deal,
Yeah.
I just need commitment of funds,
Yeah,
that's it. So if you believe that there's a need, someone else is gonna submit those projects, and someone else is gonna decide what projects fit in Fountain County,
right.
not you.
Well, and that leads to another issue. There are grants that come available as they can be used for hazmat funds. So through, Eli Lilly or whomever, sometimes you can make that happen. But if the county is participating, which I think makes sense. It would be nice if they were willing to commit a certain dollar amount each year towards progressive childcare. And in that case, it would go into a fund, it would serve as a matching fund for grants. We can structure it however you like, but that's an idea, because the grants do become available, but then you've got to match.
And so that pitch is gonna have to be sold, you know. I don't think we would really have a problem, you're gonna have to sell that to the council. Where are they gonna find the funds? Yes, we have solar things coming in, could we use revenues from that? I don't know. That's where the comprehensive plan is coming into play, because we wanna know what those dollars are gonna go for. We don't want to just, oh, let's just pull X amount of dollars out of here with no thought to it. And I think most of us, about all of us, realize that now that we need a plan.
Yeah, and that is our goal for all of our current efforts, is to continue to work towards these global plans that we can use solar dollars for. Part of the solar dollars anyway, so that we're collectively working towards, you know.
But like I said, we could be working with the foundation as well, or Head Start, some of the other organizations to pool our, you know, you just don't need one person to put that match money in, and have multiple.
Okay, so we'll work on that. Is everyone in agreement?
I just wanted to add that, from what I understand, Brendan wanted one out Will's having it like, if this wasn't the last one. So, is that correct? That's correct. That's what I was told. Yeah. So.
I'm less familiar with 1.09.
They kind of just leave those out slowly, randomly, and you get about 2 weeks notice about what the grant is and what it's for and how much time you have to apply. So it's a very, so you have to have everything prepared so that when it comes out, you're ready to submit something. So that's where we're at.
And that's why a lot of times it seemed like Purdue was always ready for, when we first started Ready One, yeah, Purdue was ready, they had all kinds of projects, and it's like, oh, we're really behind the 8 ball.
I know we talked about our matching funds, I think $20-some thousand. And I don't believe we've sent those in, have we, Colleen? The matching funds for Ready One. Childcare, we have not. So that might be something to consider, because I think we do have 3 applications now.
Okay.
I can get you more information.
Okay, that'd be good. Thank you, Rod, and everybody that came, so. Any other questions? If not, we'll. Oh, Henry, you got something? I guess our meeting's still going on.
This afternoon,
We're still meeting.
We bid the bridge project, Hayes Mill, and the low bid was 412,000. And with the county's 180 and what we've raised, we can swing that. So this afternoon, we're meeting with the engineer that's done all the research on references of this company out of Cincinnati. And is it okay if the references look good, that we go ahead and award the bid?
I think right now I don't, as long as, I mean, it's up to the commissioner, but I don't believe I have an issue with it. Your organization, is it incorporated or what name would be on the contract?
Falcon County Arts Council Incorporated,
Yeah, then the county's just contributing those funds and then.
that's correct.
Yeah, and then you can work with the engineers and whoever your legal counsel is to make sure you have a good contract, but I don't, commissioners have earmarked those funds and I think it works that way.
Okay. Well, hopefully the references check out, because we didn't really know much about the company that was low bidder, so. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry, good luck.
Okay, anything else? Close the meeting.
Okay.
Did you have anything on? I'll figure it out. I'll second all those in favor.
Aye.
Thank you.
And,
Should we have a board meeting?
yeah.